How are you?
Well, I appreciate you, man. Was out of town one day, and one day I was rehabbing.
I'm done. I'm ready. How you doing? I'm here. I'm here in the winter.
Our last comment we had.
Oh, maybe that.
My youngest
We're
not about it.
Yeah, I'm preparing.
Okay, I'm preparing to get back.
I'm working there. They let.
You can text Andy, I have some of the cars. Well, he went out to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, right.
So, right now, I get it.
It's pretty hard.
My friends don't go back when I want to.
Right.
Will
they do that?
I'm gonna say, lots of places, good city, work on the English, CFO, comptroller, all down there. Two things. Trigger your voice for years. Well,
I'm sorry.
We're doing all these.
He's actually retired.
No, they tell me that if I was on COVID, it'd be all right.
Right, yeah. When I go back there, you gotta have some quality, and you gotta really feel better.
Yeah. And it's gonna cost. No, it's this one.
Yeah.
The strands of the younger cross shows.
Yeah. Well, I was about to ask you that. Y'all still are fully hired?
No, we're hired. We hired five.
Something just was found where we're at. Right now, they come back. They all should utility. Is that right? 2.5 inches.
We're not done.
Is that good? It is not.
But also, the number of.
It might be, the orange sign you're talking about might be required to have restrictions contract. But we can put other sign.
There's some identified, let's say, we can't even put services, sewer plant. Yeah. She was tripping. Okay. Same time, fire training. Pretty good. How you doing? Okay. Oh, yeah. When you do research, she was reading her phone.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about it. There's no problem. You got it, or we just stay with it.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Madison County Board of Commissioners meeting, agenda setting work session tonight, June 2nd. We will begin with the call of order, and if you take pleasure with me, I'd like to stand and say pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. My name is Derek Doster. I'm the vice chairman, and our chairman, Todd Higgins, is out of town tonight, so I'll be presiding over tonight's meeting. Just in case anybody was curious. Is there, I don't see a chairman before we're on to that agenda. Now we come to a point of our agenda. We have business involving guest groups and multiple visitors. For those in attendance tonight, you have the pleasure. We have several of our young people here, and we will put forth a proclamation for several of them for different activities and outstanding events they've accomplished. And so we will read through those and take the motions to recognize them appropriately. And so first, Mr. Ben. Come on up, Mr. Ben. I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I'll try to read this as properly as I can. Proclamation from the Georgia National Fairgrounds Ambassador, whereas in the mission of the Georgia National Fairgrounds Ambassadors Program to showcase Georgia's agriculture and agribusiness while promoting the agricultural achievements of Georgia's young people, and whereas 10 high school students from across the state of Georgia are selected to serve a one-year term showcasing the livestock and equine sector, as well as promoting the youth livestock program and the vital role it plays in the mission in the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agri Center. And whereas through this program, ambassadors will gain knowledge about career opportunities available in the agribusiness field and encouraging long-time participation in the promoting of Georgia agriculture. And whereas Ben Darwin's unwavering enthusiasm and tireless efforts will significantly contribute to the success and reputation of the junior livestock program, embodying the spirit of the excellence and sportsmanship. Now, therefore, we do recognize and congratulate Ben Darwin on his achievement of being selected as an ambassador for the Georgia National Fairgrounds Ambassador Program. So resolved by Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 2nd day of June, 2025. All in favor of the proclamation? Aye. Congratulations, young man. If you wouldn't mind, we're going to read a few more and then we'll get a group photo up. That'll be all right.
Congratulations.
All right. Got a couple more to get through. This is good stuff, everybody.
Maggie Moon was not going to be here with us tonight. She also is going to be an ambassador for this country.
We would definitely get her proclamation and recognize her, Ms. Maggie Moon. All right. Proclamation for the 2025 Georgia FFA Extemporaneous Speaking Champion. They should be up here. Whereas the Future Farmers of America, an esteemed organization dedicated to developing leadership, personal growth, and career success among students in agriculture education. And whereas the extemporaneous speaking competition is one of the most challenging and prestigious contests with FFA, requiring competitors to think critically, speak eloquently, and demonstrate comprehensive knowledge of agricultural topics. And whereas Isabel Williams, Ms. Isabel, a dedicated and accomplished student from Madison County, has demonstrated outstanding poise, knowledge, skill in extemporaneous speaking, earning the distinguished title of state champion. And whereas this marks the first time in Madison County history that this prestigious title has been awarded to a local student, making Isabel's accomplishment an historic milestone for the community. And whereas through the dedication, perseverance, I can't say that word. Perseverance, excellence, not my award. And excellence, Isabel has brought great honor to Madison County FAA, her school, and the broader community. And whereas her achievement serves as an inspiration to students across Madison County and beyond, highlighting the importance of education, preparation, and determination in shaping future leaders in agriculture and public speaking. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Madison County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize and commend Isabel Williams for her exceptional achievement in winning the 2025 extemporaneous speaking state championship and extend our heartfelt congratulations on behalf of Madison County. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 2nd day of June, 2025. Gentlemen, all in favor?
Congratulations.
Couple more. Ms. Martina? Proclamation 2025, the Georgia FAA Beef Placement Proficiency Award State Champion. Whereas the Madison County Board of Commissioners takes pride in recognizing the achievements of outstanding students who exemplify dedication, hard work, and excellence in agriculture education, and whereas the Future Farmers of America is a nationally respected organization committed to preparing the youth for successful careers and leadership roles in agriculture through hands-on experiences in educational development. And whereas Ms. Martina Alley,
Yes, sir.
a talented and hardworking student from Madison County, has earned the esteemed title of 2025 Georgia FFA Beef Placement Proficiency Award State Champion, recognizing her exceptional skill, knowledge, and dedication in the beef production and placement. And whereas the Beef Placement Proficiency Award honors students who have gained significant experience and demonstrated excellent working in the beef cattle industry through activities such as care, management, marketing, and herd development. And whereas Martina's success serves as an inspiration to students across Madison County, highlighting the value of agricultural education, perseverance, and hands-on learning in preparing the next generation of leaders in Georgia agriculture. Now, therefore, it be resolved, the Madison County Board of Commissioners does hereby recognize and commend Martina Allen for the exceptional achievement for the 2025 Georgia FFA Beef Placement Proficiency Award State Champion and extends congratulations on behalf of the citizens of Madison County. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 2nd day of June 2025. Gentlemen, all in favor? Congratulations. All right, Ms. Bella Gray. Proclamations for the 2025 Georgia FFA Agricultural Education Leadership Development Champion. Whereas the Board of Commissioners proudly recognize and honors outstanding achievements of Bella Grace Hambert, a member of the Future Farmers of America who has earned this prestigious title of Agricultural Education Leadership Development Award State Champion in the state of Georgia. And whereas Bella Grace Hambert has demonstrated exceptional dedication, leadership, and commitment to the agricultural community, exemplifying the values of the FFA, which include personal growth, leadership, and career success in the agricultural industry. And whereas the Agricultural Education Leadership Development State Champion title is awarded to an individual who has exhibited extraordinary skill and knowledge in the field of agricultural education, which encompasses a comprehensive understanding of the vital role of agricultural plays in our society, as well as the commitment to developing future leaders in the industry through educational programs and hands-on experience. And whereas this is the first time this award has been received by a Madison County member, making it an historic and proud moment for the community. And whereas Bella Grace has shown herself to be a shining example to the next generation of agricultural leaders who will continue to shape the future of our county's agricultural landscape. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Madison County Board of Commissioners proudly congratulates Bella Grace Hambrick for the exceptional accomplishments of the agricultural educational state champion and commends her for her outstanding leadership, commitment, and contributions to the future of agriculture. So be resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the second day of June, 2025. Gentlemen, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations. We'd love to have all the board members up for a photo, please.
Congratulations. We're gonna get kids first before we mess up the photo. They might not want to see me. We get place, they both. They know how to do this. They know how to speak, cattle, they know this.
Congratulations again.
All right.
Tina and Bella Grace and Isabel all be competing nationally. We're looking for some good results from that. Coming up in October. We have two of our ag teachers here with us tonight. Miss Erin Colton and Josh Daniels, thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
And Isaac Williams, thank you.
Good stuff. We enjoy that. Proud of everybody. Congratulations. All right, we'll move on for our public hearings and actions on zoning matters. Our first item on the agenda.
Tell the rest of the stay here, you might be considered rude.
Yes.
Yes, everybody needs to leave.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We expect you back for those. No pressure.
In just a sec. All right, we'll move to the first of our public hearings on action and zoning matters. Tonight's agenda, the Brenda Watkins request. Mr. Scott.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, first zoning application for May public hearing. Brenda Watkins is requesting to rezone 26.51 acres from A1 to A2. Split the property into two tracts containing 12.751 and 13.763 acres. The property is located at 1364 Adderhall Rogers Road in Commerce, map 12, parcel 48 in District 1. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in opposition, and no one came forward in favor. The Planning and Zoning Commission, after much discussion, voted as a 5-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here tonight? You'd like to speak? You don't have to, I'm just, you'd like to add anything?
I was just requesting, this is property that's been in my family since 1884, and I'm the student to have the property. And, I would like to retain the 12+ acres to keep the family home place or in the family, and the other portion, my neighbors would like to add it to their farm, so I'm planning to sell the 13 acres. And it's mostly a hay field now. It's been leased for hay for the last 25 years. And the house on the property is kind of a family retreat. It's not lived in, but it is our family retreat.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody additionally that would like to speak in favor of this request? Anyone coming forward? Open the floor for anybody that wants to speak in opposition to this request. None coming forward. We'll close the public opportunity. Bring it back before the board. District 1.
I make a motion that this request be approved as stated.
Second.
A motion and a second for approval of the applicant. Any further discussion? Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
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 And yes. Motion carried.
All right, so our number 2 application is a withdrawal. So we will move on to number 3. Royce Bray, applicant for Herman Fields, is requesting to rezone a 4-acre portion of his 20 acres from A2 to AR to split and give to his nephew for home site. The remaining 16 acres will remain in the A2 zone. The property is located at 196 Adams Duncan Road in Soil on map 29, parcel 47-01D in District 3. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in favor. No one came forward in opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend to the Board of Commissioners for approval.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here? Would you like to add anything, or are you content?
Good.
All right. We'll continue with anybody else that'd like to speak in favor of this application. None. Anybody like to speak in opposition to this application? None. We'll bring it back before the board.
I'll make a motion that this request be approved as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, John? Seeing none, and this is in District 3. Commissioner May?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion carried.
Number 4, Pierce Gordon is requesting to rezone a 6.32 acre portion of his 31.92 acres from A1 to AR to split for tax purposes. The remaining 25.6 acres will remain in the A1 zone. The property is located at 245 Ruther Willis Road in Carver on map 0105, parcel 012-01 in District 4. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in favor of, and no one came forward in opposition to. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here this evening?
I am.
Would you like to add anything? No? All right. Any additional attendees like to speak in favor of the opposition? Anybody like to speak in opposition to the applicant? Being none, bring it back before the board.
I make a motion to approve, as outlined here, the rezone, and also after some consideration of the entirety of what would happen here, I propose that we refund the fee of $250 to Mr. Golden due to some administrative issues.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application with the additional refund of $250. Any further discussion, John? District 4.
Just one thing, our apologies again for the board.
I appreciate
We've been
that.
working
Thank
on
you.
these kind of things, our county attorneys would help us with them. We apologize for the confusion this week.
Yeah. We just want to make sure we do the right thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the vote is District 4, Commissioner Burt.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion carried.
Our next rezone is, Nick and Heather Jefferson are requesting to rezone a 10.94 acre portion of their 52.22 acres from A1 to A2 to be split and retained. The remaining 41.38 acres will remain in the A1 zone to be sold. The property is located at 1745 Hannah Creek Church Road in Royston on map 75, parcel 001 in District 4. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in favor of, and no one came forward in opposition to. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended to the Board of Commissioners by a 5-0 vote that this rezone request be accepted.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant in attendance? All right. Would anybody like to speak in favor of this application? Come forward. Being none, anybody that would oppose this application, come forward. Being none, we will close the public comment and bring it back before the board.
I make a motion that we approve this rezone.
Second motion.
Have a motion and a second to approve the application. It's also in District 4. Any further discussion? Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion carried.
Number 6, Eric Borders, applicant for Jeffrey Wakefield, is requesting a dual rezone for his A2 zone 10.98 acres. He is requesting to rezone a 2.963 acre portion from A2 to R1 to split and retain and to rezone the remaining 8.024 acres from A2 to AR to sell and bring the property in compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 7968 Highway 29 South in Hull on map 31, parcel 72 in District 3. Public hearing was held. No one came forward to speak in favor of. No one came forward to speak in opposition to. After much discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to approve this rezone request.
Thank you, sir. Applicant in attendance?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to add anything, or is that sufficient?
That's sufficient. Thank you.
All right. We'll continue our public comment period. Anybody that was speaking in favor of this applicant, come forward. Seeing none, anybody that was speaking in opposition to this application, please come forward. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period, bring it back to the board. This is in District 3.
I'll make a motion that this rezone request be approved.
Second. We have a motion and a second for the approval. Any additional comments? Questions? Being none, District 3, Mr. Matt?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. Number 7, Andrew Saunders is requesting to rezone a 5.6 acre portion of his 40.97 acre property from A1 to AR to split for a family member. The retaining 35.37 acres will remain in the A1 zone. The property is located at 0 Fred Goss Road in Danielsville on map 69, parcel 81 in District 2. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in favor of. No one came forward in opposition to. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Typically, we would ask if the applicant is here. Chair, are you here to represent Ingrid?
I am.
I just know the gentleman's out of town, so are you content with that, or would you like to add something on his behalf?
I would like to add something if that's all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry Hines. I know I haven't had a chance to be before you before. I'm a local attorney. I'm also a Madison County resident. I live at 193 Gatewood Drive in Culvert. Mr. Sanders is a close personal friend and colleague, and he'd asked me to be here. I know he wanted to be here himself in person. Unfortunately, he is out of the country on travel plans, so he could not possibly be here, and he asked me to be here instead. What he wanted me to share with you all tonight is that he specifically moved with his family to Madison County with the intent of staying here and making it his final permanent residence. He specifically supports the goals of the zoning ordinance here, particularly focusing on agriculture, forest lands. It's a strong personal interest of his, and we certainly support that zoning structure. His interest today in asking for this rezone is because he has, between him and his neighbor, Justin Tyson, whose parcels are on that map, that they have between them, I understand, 6 sets of aging grandparents and 7 children. His mother alone just turned 80 recently. He fully anticipates a need to build another home on that property at some point in the future to allow family or children to come and live with them on this larger parcel. He has no intentions of developing the property. In fact, his intentions are to eventually put the remaining portion of this parcel into UVA for conservation, and ultimately, he would like at some point to put in a perpetual conservation easement. If any of you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them to the best of my ability, and I thank you all so much for your consideration.
Okay. All right. Open the floor for any additional person who'd like to come and speak in favor of this application. Seeing none, open the floor for anybody who'd like to speak in opposition to this application. Seeing none, we'll bring it back before the board.
Mr. Chairman, before we go any further, I know there's a lot of comment. This is pretty unusual, and again, come before us. There's a private access drive that was planted separately, and I know as y'all discussed this considerably in the PDA meeting, and Mr. Pruitt, I'm sure you had some involvement in this as well. And this makes this pretty odd. That probably should never have been approved. Is that correct?
I haven't been asked anything about it, really haven't looked into it.
But this all, it's all past history. I mean, this is here.
Right, yeah, just looking at it,
It makes this a little strange with that being in there.
I think if just looking at the analysis, this easement was platted prior to the adoption of the driveway ordinance, so the driveway ordinance doesn't apply, which makes sense. I haven't verified the dates, but that makes sense to me. We see that from time to time.
That's all. We'll make mention of it. If you're ready, I'll make a move that this.
No other comments, questions? Yes.
Motion is reasonably approved as requested.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this application. Any other discussion? District 2?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carries.
Second motion.
Our last vote.
That's one for the user. Okay. Cora X, applicant for Donna Kane, is requesting to rezone an 8.1 acre portion of her 23.60 acre from A1 to AR to split and sell to a family member, and to rezone the remaining 15.50 acres from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 333 Sailors Road in Hull on map 15, parcel 95 in District 1. Public hearing was held. No one came forward to speak in favor of. No one came forward to speak in opposition to. Planning and Zoning recommends by a vote for 5-0 to recommend approval. That's all for you.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant present?
We are present, yes.
Are you content with the explanation? If you'd like to
We're
add anything?
content, unless you have any questions. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you. Continue with our public comment period, public policy. I can get more words. Anybody like to speak in favor of this applicant? Come forward. Anybody that will speak in opposition to this application, please come forward. Being none, we'll close the public hearing portion of it and bring it back to the board. This is in District 1.
Make a motion that this request be approved as noted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this application. Any additional comments or questions? Seeing none. Seeing none.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. That concludes our zoning portion of the meeting. We'll continue with the business of the government. You're free to stay and participate, but we understand if you don't.
Ms. Watkins, your request has been forwarded to. No, thank you.
Moving on with our agenda, under old business, agenda item number 5, consideration of a resolution to amend the ordinance to add a social media policy. I don't know if there's additional comments that need to be made by the clerk or counselor.
No, this is, the last version that y'all seen at the last meeting. This is just, we didn't have it in a resolution format, and that's what we just, the attorneys put it into a resolution for you to vote on.
All right.
Move this resolution be approved as presented here.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the social media policy resolution. Any further comments or questions?
Thank y'all for your work on that. I know that's not one of those things we'd really rather not have to address it.
All right. We'll start with Commissioner Adams?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, now we have, consider an agreement between the Board of Education, the Sheriff's Office, and the Board of Commissioners to provide school resource officers for the Madison County School System. This is agenda item number 6 in your package.
This is an agreement that we renew each year, and it's written with the Board of Education with a cap of $540,000. They'll provide, the Sheriff's Office will provide up to 9 SROs. The Sheriff's Office will handle all the payroll, all their equipment, their gear, vehicles, and then Chief Deputy Vaughn, he will calculate the salaries and cost of invoice to the Board of Education. And so that's what this contract is. So it'll be paid to the county, and that's kind of why we're in the agreement, because it's where the money will be flowed through. The sheriff has already approved and signed off on this contract, and we're just sending it to the Board of Education.
All right.
So any significant changes in this and the previous contract?
Just the dollar figures was changed.
And it may be in here, but please remind me, do we, lack of a better term, we invoice them monthly, quarterly?
Yes,
or?
I believe it's written to work monthly. I'll actually look at that today.
Probably this is what I was looking at.
Yes, by the 10th of each month
Okay.
for such compensation. And then they have which one day to.
All right. Then we got a school resources agreement, basically.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions? Discussion? Being done? Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carried. Now consider 3 weeks of budget amendments. There's 7 in your package. Christina?
Yes, sir. So you have everything that's highlighted, on the first 2 pages is for one amendment. The third page is for the opioid settlement, and the 4th page is for the sheriff's donation fund. As you know, we just completed our audit. Their firm and staff was here for a week. So the budget amendments kind of clean up our budget. So what these are from are expenditures that were not originally budgeted for. So on the 2nd page, you'll see down here where it says net change in fund balance at the bottom of the page, always to the far right. That number is what our carryover revenue is, and this is where those budget amendments will be pulled from, is from excess revenue to that line item. That's for the first 2 pages. The 3rd page, the opioid settlement, we started receiving opioid money in 2022. And halfway through 2024, the state come out with some guidelines on how they want to see the opioid money tracked and handled internally for governments. So we had to move it and assign it to a certain fund where it was in the general fund. So that's what that expenditure is for, is moving it from one fund to the other. And then the last page is a good amendment to have that the sheriff's office receives additional donations or more donations than they expected to receive.
I think the majority of the change really is highways and emergency situations that we had,
Yes.
you know, with storms and everything else. So.
Yes. Yep, and another, one of the main ones that I had noticed on page 2 under Public Works for highways and streets, that 1.9, we did not, that was when we were in between finance directors and we were doing a budget session then, and we didn't budget for all of our LMIG projects that year as a revenue and expenditure, so that's why that number is so high.
All right. Then we've got a budget amendment in front of us to clean up for the auditor's recommendation. Motion?
I make a motion that we approve the amendment.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None? Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Motion carries. Budget amendment's approved. Right, moving on to number 8. Consider approving our insurance renewal for property and liability with ACCG, the Interlocal Risk Management Agency, IRMA.
So what you'll see, you have 3 documents. The first one is the renewal contribution worksheet, and it shows you 2 different options that they provide us for renewal. Option 1 is the $357,000, and that is keeping our deductible at $10,000. And option 2 is the $372,000, and that's lowering our deductible down to $5,000. The previous agreement, you'll see on your packet, was $287. That was for 10.5 months. That was prorated. We signed up with them in the middle of August last year, where the contract coverage starts at the beginning of July. Another reason for the increase is when we signed in August, we didn't have any of the water department facilities, wells, equipment, vehicles, any of that. So you'll see on your summary sheet provided on the top, the water department, all those aspects added about $25,000, and then what the rough estimates between a 5 and 7.5%, depending on the deductible. I spoke with Susan and Lacey. Lacey handles a lot of our vehicle accidents and claims, and what was paid out of pocket since the middle of August last year to now is $22,000. So Ms. Payne has recommended option 1, that she still feels like we will come in under budget, paying our deductible out of pocket compared to decreasing the deductible down to $5,000.
This deductible is that per incident
Yes.
deductible?
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen. Insurance renewal.
On West Plains recommendations, it's 372. 356. Roughly $16,000 difference. So just over 3 incidents would cover that difference. She still recommended to go with the higher deductible.
Yeah.
Do we have some sort of record or history of instance? I assume this covers all sheriff's vehicles, everything.
Yes, yep.
It seems like a small amount to different.
It does. There was one truck here just recently, a few weeks ago, that had a lot of front end damage, and I don't remember what caused that. But it was closer to $8,000, which was, we normally don't see stuff like that. It's normally that high of a repair damage repairs. I understand what you're saying, because that was the reason why I specifically had that conversation with her. I was thinking we would want to do the $5,000 deductible, especially because you're gambling a small amount of money. So that was her recommendation with option one. But like you said, when you extra dollars, it's about $15,000 difference. If nothing from now until July 1st.
I mean, I don't mean to question her, it just.
No, yeah.
But we also have a month and a half of additional coverage in this proposal that we didn't.
Yes.
So that makes that difference actually smaller.
Yes.
Yeah, it increases the gap in there. Discussion.
Go ahead.
Then I would make a motion that we go with option 2, just for the reduction in potential exposure that we would have for, what's it, $15,000 or $16,000?
16.
I believe for the year that having commercial vehicles on the road, it's real easy to use up that much money pretty quickly. Let me say that.
Let's have a motion to approve the insurance renewal with the option 2, which will have a lower deductible. Second.
Second motion.
Any further questions? All right. Mr. Kirk?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're into agenda item number 9, discuss amending the procurement ordinance to reflect recent changes in state law.
I just put this on the agenda to kind of let the board know. I have reached out to Mr. Pruitt. We have about, I think it's about 5 things out for sealed bid, RFP, RFQ, and the state law has recently changed. 1, it has increased thresholds for spending limits, what competitive bids need to, that threshold. 2, a lot of the legal notice and advertisements have been allowed to go more digitally, and those timeframes have changed some. So I had reached out to Mr. Pruitt, and you'll see the email attached was him answering some of my questions and definitions. So we've got 3 different counties that Pruitt has recommended for staff to review to start making changes to our procurement process and sealed bid process. It's just updating and kind of mirroring the state. That was just to kind of let you guys know internally what we're doing. If y'all are good with us to move forward, then we'll start spending some time deciphering, digging through this.
Okay. Let's see here, it's very good. Title 32 and 36, so public works and road.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so that's for any discussion, and I know it's kind of put on you tonight.
Yeah.
Do your research, and I'm sure if we have any questions, we'll get with Christina and give that opportunity to give up.
Glad y'all on top.
All right, consider requesting, item number 10, consider requesting, engineering firm Carter Sloop, request a proposal for an application to the Upper Ogeechee Savannah River Basin Seed Grant. I requested this one to be put on there. I requested this to be put on there just through our ongoing conversations about, long-term planning in the water department. And I think I followed up with y'all, last quarter after I attended the Upper Ogeechee Savannah River Water Basin meeting. And, those grants, applications, I think, become effective July 1st. And I know, Carter and Sloop are doing some additional work for us, so I thought it was an opportunity to ask for a proposal from them, to inquire about maybe what they, using their expertise, maybe what the application, I have no desire or I have no definitive knowledge of we should be asking for X, Y, Z, but let them kind of help us with a proposal, to maximize that grant fund.
I agree with you.
Right. So it's no form of contract, whatnot, but just, if anybody has any opposition to it, I guess is what I'm, and they'll bring forward a proposal, if that seems reasonable, then we can take a formal action on it if needed. If it's below the purchasing threshold, then the chairman can approve it.
So this is just purely just a request for them to bring us a proposal.
That's my opinion. That was my opinion.
You want that formal motion?
We will, sure.
I move we proceed with this request to Carter Sloop.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. With that, Ms. Christina, and I'm making assumptions and I don't want to, but, I think Rodney could talk to Eric and just kind of see what that next evolution of things we need to be looking at.
Yeah.
And then Eric could kind of refine that and
Okay.
get that proposal back to us. I mean, and I'm really looking for since it's the basin itself is really that long-term collaboration, so.
Okay.
And also, are there other counties that would be interested in getting information so they can get other counties to participate in this request as well?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it'd be a collaborative thing with the basin. It's just, I never sat down and wrote down 1, 2, 3. What I thought we needed to do was just the next evolution, like I said.
That'd be one thing, ask them to bring their proposal, what other counties or municipalities would they reach out to include in this?
All right. Item number 11, consider appointing a department head for the building code, animal, and zoning departments.
Yep, so in your packet, you've got, summary sheet on top, and then the second page is a proposed reorganization. And the last one is the chairman's recommendation of appointment. This vote is just for the department head, and then internally the chairman can decide the details of the organization and possible assistant directors or chain of command. We've spoken to this employee several times, and the chairman and I both feel like this will be a really good move. We've run into a lot of staff currently doesn't have the authority to kind of make some decisions administratively, so a lot of stuff gets brought to our office. So we're looking for, hopefully this employee will help minimize that. Also, it's hard for us to, as you know, Todd is specifically the department head for all of those departments. And we're not on that side of the building. We're not in those offices. So just trying to manage employees is challenging too, because we're not down there. So we're hoping that this can kind of ease some of our minute daily things that's constantly being brought up on our end.
Mr. Prince, are you sure this is something you want to volunteer for?
Yes, sir.
We've asked him a bunch of times.
I
What's in
think
that
in the
volunteer?
end, it will make it easier on me, believe it or not. Just to make sure things get done correctly in the correct order by the time I have to get involved, instead of having to go back and fix it.
Gotcha.
That's something that we have noticed, working with Eddie a lot, is by the time that the building inspector gets brought in, it's like one of the last steps, he could have made that process so much smoother from the beginning. And like you said, he's already in a lot of conversations, but he's not able to make decisions then. So this move will help, I think, make the departments work smoothly and more effectively and efficiently.
And I guess you feel good about the knowledge and of planning and zoning part of it?
Yes, sir. I mean, I know there's a planner coming, and that'll be what he does.
Right.
So when needed, I'll put my 2 cents in, and other than that, I'll just keep things moving in the department, make sure everybody communicates like they're supposed to, things are done in the right procedure, and as efficiently as can be.
Yeah, that's one thing I like to make sure is that whatever procedures we have, I know we're looking at a planner coming, but that we continue to do those, and as we see things that might need some correction or adjustment, that we can do that in the interim.
Yeah.
Is it division that the planner would then be under your umbrella?
Yeah, so this kind of keeps the planner from having to deal with the personnel issues, time sheets, and things like that. He'll be able to concentrate on just the planning portion of it, the ordinances, interpreting the ordinances, and that type of stuff.
This doesn't cause me any particular heartburn one way or the other, but in the way I make a living, Eddie, and this is a question for you as much as anything, it would seem that in most structures of the authorities having jurisdiction, that zoning and planning is going to be on one side of the hall, and building inspections, code enforcement, county marshal, that these are, some of them's got spots and some of them's got stripes. Mm-hmm. You know, and for me personally, while I have no objection for this, and the structure, administrative structure is proposed here, at some point, I believe we should be working towards that direction. If for no other reason, forgive me, but it keeps zoning and planning from meddling in what you do, and code enforcement from meddling in what someone else is doing.
Well, in that, well, you know, I've been here for 100 years. So, I've seen that progression. At one time, when I started, we were all one department. We had building code, and then planning, zoning, and animal control. We were all under one umbrella. People left, the departments ended up dividing. There are pros and cons no matter which way you do it. This way, we have just run up on a lot of stuff that didn't get done, so we're having to go back and fix things procedurally in the beginning as far as zoning goes, and that's where this comes from. And then as far as the enforcement goes, we do the enforcing. Building does the enforcing for all the structures anyway, and I'll still can enforce anything in the ordinance as well. So if one thing slows down, that ends up picking up on the other side as far as, you know, unsafe structures and that type thing. So we deal with all that. Typically code, they're not well versed in anything with structures. So that tends to fall under building as far as unsafe structures or, you know, things like that. So that's why.
We also use, code enforcement staff to go out and verify with setbacks when we have rezones, rezoning signs, things like that. That's
Yeah, and that's actually part of this. Some of these steps have been skipped.
I can see where Denny's coming from, and I agree that, I think, for right now, I think this is a good plan, is where I think that to do this. Now, in the future, and when I say the future, I'm not saying, next week or
Yeah.
maybe not even next year, but whatever, that we may need to do some separation. As things change, we might need to, or add other people and maybe redefine the structure of it.
Eddie, we spoke a little bit today. We think that the new software system is really going to help with this lack of communication, things that get
Some
dropped.
tie things together.
Yeah, we think that that's really going to help.
Now, well, that would be a positive move for sure, if it does that, to alert, saying, this ought to happen before this happens, before somebody makes this decision, which impacts this decision, and those kind of things. That's the frustration that I get, is because I see these things come up a lot, and then it all seems like, well, the board, you need to sort of figure out how we deal with this, and it's way past.
Yeah, and what I've talked with Melissa about with this is making sure that we have stops for every phase when people come in to do rezones or what have you for permitting. So you can't get to the next step unless you've got everything above that. And so we're not backtracking.
Gotcha.
And this also doesn't take me out of the field or anything like that. I'm still the building inspector. I'm just kind of there to make things run smooth, the grease the wheels.
Check on
All right. So we've got this, we need to consider appointing the department head, and with this breakout of the staff personnel and organization chart, it is noted at the bottom that there is a change in salary, which is a budget amendment, so to speak, even if it's minor. So just make sure that you're aware of that, gentlemen, before you vote. So with that said, anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we approve this as stated in this agenda item, number 11. I don't know how better to do it.
All right.
As stated here, that we approve appointing Mr. Pritchard as a part
Yeah, I meant, yes, Mr. Pritchard, yeah.
All of this, as stated in the document.
Yeah.
We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Oh, I will. I think Eddie, I think that time now is correct. I do kind of, as Danny alluded to, I think there will be a time, and again, not a defined time, but when some of those tasks probably be best served separated, but that's another day and possibly another board, so we won't get there tonight. Commissioner May?
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes. Motion carries.
and thank you for offering to take on that task.
I may regret it later.
Well, now look, you can't have regrets after this.
Eddie, what do we have for a time frame for you to be able to implement?
Well, as far as doing everything, we're still trying to decide how we're gonna move people around and that kind of stuff. So probably in the next few weeks, we'll get everything nailed down, more permanent.
And here's another challenge I see for this position, and obviously it's gonna take some assistance from Mr. Pruitt, whatever. And one of the examples we dealt with tonight, we got some challenges from plan approval into property valuation, and we need some help there.
And that is something, and
Bring
we
that
actually
together.
didn't talk too much about that, but, I have talked to zoning about that. When, rezones happen and parcels are divided and that thing, making sure they don't violate their, CULA and all that kind of stuff prior to getting into it and then realizing that. So that is something that, like I said, that goes in following those steps.
There's a lot of issues there we got to learn to be better at.
And I guess I look forward to
I know you take some time, but look for you coming back and just sort of presenting to us what you, inside of the structure, I think would be a good thing.
Yep. Yeah.
I think, just some public awareness of things that we're doing would also be good, just to bring it out in a meeting.
And we're working on the software right now too, so I'd like to keep it as simple as possible. I worked in Gwinnett for a stint, and the biggest complaint I had with Gwinnett was it took so long to go through the process. To get a permit approval, I don't want us to be like that.
Yeah.
So, there's no sense in bogging things down.
Thank you. All right, number 12, any urgent matters, gentlemen? Hearing none. Number 13, any executive session, real estate, personnel, litigation.
Yes, sir.
After that brings us to number 14. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Dinner was, I eat what I'm gonna eat before I come to the meeting. So my job is like meditation, and then I can.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thanks for letting me early. I don't.
All right, bye.
Yeah, it makes it a little different, makes it a little difficult, especially driving the door.
Yeah.
What can I gotta do what I gotta do, y'all have fun.
3 people come in this for lunch. I need an executive decision. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm gonna give you an answer in something.
That's what I tell my guys, that, you know, do something whether it's right or wrong, just make a decision and move on. You know? Well, you chew on my ass if I like the wrong one. I said, I don't chew on your ass.
Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than it is for